wear protective gear.
Huh? Protective gears. These are what and what and what?
Gloves,
Mm-hmm.
goggles,
Mm-hmm.
and
Googles, gloves, dust coat, or overall, isn't it?
hizo nguo.
Zinaitwa PPEs. You can have an overall or a dust coat. You can have. You also have the safety boots. You remember when we were going to Iber Africa? The way those guys told us to put on, including the safety boots. So those are the safety.
And safety boot.
Yes, and safety boots.
Yeah.
Another safety precaution. There are so many safety precautions that we have to take care of in our workshop, and we learned them.
Uh, you must use the guideline or the instruction given by the electrician or
Yes,
by
you
the manufacturer.
use instructions
Uh,
given that is
guideline.
called specification guides for machines
Yes.
from manufacturers. Another thing that we do is making sure that we clean the floors. You know, we normally clean the floor so that we avoid anything that can slip or water that is lying there that even can even cause electrocution or that can even make somebody to fall down, isn't it? Another safety precaution that we
Yes.
normally do is avoid loose clothing. We are told that we should avoid loose clothing. Loose clothing like chains, like maybe loose hair, somebody who has not tied the hair. It is not allowed in a workshop. Loose clothing are something like dust coats that are just hanging and they are not tied. So all those are the things that should be avoided working in the workshop. Another thing that we need to look at when at safety precaution in the workshop is we have to follow instructions and we avoid eating in the workshop. Another thing is avoid talking to people who are working on machines. Those are safety precautions. If somebody is busy working on a machine, avoid talking to that person because you can distract the mind of the person and the person might even forget that he's working on a machine and the machine might injure the person. So avoid distraction or distracting somebody who is working on a machine. Maybe you tell me any of the safety precautions that I've forgotten. I'm afraid you have just come in. Tell us one. The safety precautions and standards that we have in our workshop. Yes, Salad.
Ensure that the connections are tight and well.
Huh? Ensure that we have tight connections, especially when you are doing a connection of motors. Make sure that your terminations
Yes.
are very tight and we don't have loose connection to avoid the short circuiting of the motor and even causing fires in the workshop. So those are major things that we talked about in safety precautions. And then maintenance activities are required. What are some of the maintenance activities required in a electrical workshop? Some of the things is there are machines that we have that normally need. Normally we have machines in the workshop, and these machines are rotating machines. Most of them are rotating machines. So if you go to an industry and you have a workshop and you have rotating machines, these machines normally must be greased. We need greasing. We put grease so that we can, it's called lubrication. We do lubrication so that these machines can be able to turn correctly, they can be able to run properly. So that is lubrication of machines. Any other thing, any other activity that we do in maintenance, what do? We ensure that the connections are done correctly. We ensure that the loading, if for example it is motors, we ensure that the loading of the motors is done correctly. We don't overload and we also don't underload. We ensure that the connections are correct. Maybe if the faces and the terminals are done properly, the insulation must also be done properly. Those are the maintenance activities that we do. We clean the surfaces. If we have dirty surfaces, dusty places, dusty machines, we have to clean them regularly. That is a maintenance activity that is required. So can I hear any other that I've not mentioned? Today is a discussion, a class. So today I'll need you to talk a lot, more than I talk. Yes? Can I hear Salad? And Humphrey. Humphrey tena amepotea.
Yes.
Yes, say something about the maintenance activities that are required, apart from what I've said.
You must clean the commutator from the dirty. Ensure that dirty is not reaching the commutator because it will damage the motor.
Good. We clean. That is now cleaning. We clean the dust from the surface and even from the commutator that is running, so that the dust cannot get inside the motor, because if the dust gets there, it can damage the motor windings and even the operation of the motor. Good. Next, we talked about the common faults found in DC machines. When we talked about DC machines, we said that DC machines, these are the machines that use the direct current. They use direct current, it means it is not alternating current, it's not AC. So they are DC machines. So what are the common types of faults that can you list at least 3 or 4 types of faults that can be found in DC machines?
Overloading,
Good. Overloading. What can overloading cause?
uh, the exceeding of the current may cause
Mhm.
overloading.
It can exceed the current, and then
And
so exiting the current, then now it brings about overheating, isn't it? And when we
yes,
overheat the motor, it means the motor will burn out. And buying a motor is very expensive, so we always need to take care of our motors. Is that correct?
yes.
Yes. Another type of
Another
fault.
one is failure to yes,
Failure to excite. What do we mean by failure to excite? It means that when you are starting a motor, maybe you are switching on a motor, it does not run. Excite means running or starting. So when a motor fails to excite, it means it cannot start. So what are some of the reasons, or what are some of the problems that can make a motor not to start? Number one is a wrong connection. Maybe you have not connected it well, isn't it? What other faults? What other things can make a motor not to start or fail to
yes.
excite? Let me hear.
Maybe there is the shortage of the voltage
Mhm.
supply. Voltage
The-
supply.
There's a shortage in voltage supply. Mhm. It can cause a failure to excite. Maybe there is also under voltage, meaning the voltage supply is not to the standard of the motor. So it means that the motor will not get the full supply that it needs to get. So that one brings a fault. So there are many other faults. There are very many faults. The brushes are worn. Maybe maybe it is short circuited, or we have burnt. The motor is burnt out. Uh, there are so many things that we talked about, and then we have functional tests required to repair the machines. What are some of the tests that we said? We are revising, and I need you guys to have very many answers. And I don't know why your class members are not present. Salad. Walienda wapi? Salad.
Yes,
Wengine wameenda wapi akina
yes.
Edgar?
Madam, sijui mimi mwenyewe nimetoka hospitali.
Hata uliniambia, how is your father going on? Ameimprove?
He's improving.
Or he is
Lakini
improving?
bado hajasimama vizuri.
Lakini ameanza
Yes,
kuregain.
yes.
Sawa sawa, we are praying for him. We hope he will recover soon, very fast. Sawa, tuendelee. So the types of fault in DC machines tumeshazisema, and the functional tests. Now, like for example, the motor has failed to start. What do you look at? You look at the winding, uone kama windings ziko vizuri. You look at the connection, you make sure that the connections are correct. Sometimes you look at the overloading, you make sure that the machine is not overloaded. Another thing, maybe a motor is making noise, is running but it's making noise. What are some of the functional tests that we can do to know the problem when the motor is making noise? What are the tests that we can do to know what the problem is? Yes. Yes.
Or you can test and determination of efficiency.
Uh-huh. The efficiency, the efficiency at which the motor is running. You can test the speed as well and make sure that the motor is running at the specified speed on the disk. And then the next thing that we talked about is the safety precautions necessary when working with DC machines. When working with DC machines, we say that the safety precautions, some of the safety precautions we said is that make sure that it is not overloaded. The same things just keep repeating themselves. Make sure that the machine is not overloaded. Make sure that it is properly fitted. Make sure that it is well connected and supplied with the required power. And make sure that the carbon brushes are okay and the motor is running properly. And then next we talked about the common faults associated with the AC machine. So I want to know some of the faults that you can remember about the AC machines. What are some of the faults?
It's like DC for.
They're just
I
yes,
think it's
they're
just
all they are
like
all they are
DC
almost the
for.
same.
Yes.
They are almost huwa
There is
zinakaa kutaka kufanana za DC.
overheating.
Mhm. There's overheating, there's overloading.
Yes, there is overheating,
Uh-huh.
and there is installation down.
Mhm.
There is vibration.
Peter, look for
Yes,
a earphone and use. Use a earphone, Peter. Yes, yes, continue, Salad.
I'm saying
Mm.
the AC motor can
Mm.
be vibrated.
Yeah, there
That
can be
means that
a
the
problem
machine
with
has
vibration.
fault.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
It means that the machine
or
has fault.
the bear. Yes. Another thing is that the bearing failure.
Uh-huh. There's bearing failure. Another thing. Mm?
Overload.
Uh-huh.
There is a
Overloading.
overload.
Mm.
There is a locked road. Just the rotor is locked.
Uh-huh. It is
There
locked.
is when the it is when the rotor is locked, there is
Mhm.
a faulty occurred on that AC machine. Yes.
Mhm. Okay, very good. So we are now on locating faults of AC machines. Now we want to locate faults. The same procedure. You remember I gave you some very long procedures. There's a flowchart that I gave you. I don't know if you can remember it. The flowchart of
Floated.
identifying faults. Mulionanga hiyo flowchart?
Ilikuwa ya lini?
Easy notes too. I told you that
Before the
now how to identify faults in a DC in AC machines. If maybe the machine has failed to start, what do? You look at this. If not this, you go to this. Then if it is this, you repair. If
I
not, you go
remember.
next. You remember that flowchart? Those are very
Yes.
important notes. Those are very important notes. Some of them, when you are reviewing, make sure that you review. I hope you guys have all the notes that I've been giving you. Review the notes and read them now
Yes.
and again and again and again, because that procedure is very important and it will help you not only in the examination, it will also help you in your job in the industry. It will help you in locating faults in AC machine. And then you will have to, it will also help you know the functional test and repair of the machine. And now the safety to observe and the requirements in maintaining AC machines. It is just the same way, the same safety precautions that are necessary that we used in the DC machines. So AC machines and DC machines, safety on operating them is just the same. And we said some of the things that we said is make sure that the machine is not overloaded, make sure that we have a clear way on working, clean, make sure that the machines are always clean, uh, make sure that you don't talk to somebody who is operating on a machine, because this person can bring problems, maybe can make the other person to get injured. And then we came to discharge lamps. And then we talked about discharge lamps. So I want somebody to say something on discharge lamps. What did we say about the discharge lamps? Humphrey, you can say something now that you are back. I want to hear you guys talk. Unmute your mic. Unmute your mics. Yes, Salad. It seems Humphrey has problems in connecting. Anajaribu kuunmute inapotea. Sawa, so help him out there.
Yes.
Now, discharge lamps. We were talking about the common faults in discharge lamps. What are some of the common faults in this discharge lamps? Like, say, for example, you are taking a discharge lamp like the fluorescent lamp. What are some of the common
Discharge.
faults? And
I think discharge lamp are grouped into three.
mhm,
There is low pressure discharge,
mhm,
high pressure discharge, and high intensity discharge.
mhm. And now, what about the faults? Some of the faults in discharge lamps, we have like maybe a fluorescent, the faults that in a fluorescent lamp. Sometimes you can see that the tube is black at the ends. What is the problem? And then sometimes you can say it is fails to start, or it is blinking. What is the problem? Uh, Sometimes it is not starting. Maybe the starter is spoiled or it is burned, you change the starter. So those are the common faults that we are talking about in discharge lamps. Other lamps like the mercury vapor lamp, when they fail to start, maybe the gas inside it has been depleted and it is not working. That is the inert gases that that normally support the lighting points. And then the faults in discharge lamps, the faults are so many. And then fault discharge lamps, we have faults like what we have said sorry, about the lamps failing to start. So up to there, we have done a brief summary about the discharge lamps. And the syllabus is over. So I want us to start a revision of past papers from next week. And I don't know, Salad, how many past papers do you have for this unit? Soft copy or even hard copy?
Mingi sana.
Uko na mingi?
Mingi.
Zinakwanga soft copy ama
Yes.
hard copy? Ni
Yes,
soft copy.
I have a hard copy and soft copy. Yes.
Sasa hizo za soft copy unaweza ukanitumia?
Sawa.
Unitumie kwa WhatsApp. So ninataka, unajua sasa tumeshamaliza. Kwa ile lesson ya estimation and tendering nilikuwa nimeongea na wenye walikuwa class, you were not there. We had said that kwa estimation tumebaki na niliona uliingia alafu ukatoka, so I understood. Nilikuwa nimewaambia estimation tumebaki na the final part of calculation which is elimination. Sitaki tufanye sana hizo calculations kama hatujarudi face to face. That is if we will come back to face in September, we will repeat again that calculation, at least tukikuwa sasa kwa ubao watu waone. But for now tutaendelea tu kufanya polepole. Today we did some 2 examples. Your friends will tell you what we did. So for EMFD, we have already finished the syllabus. Now that we have finished the syllabus, what I expect from you guys is cooperation in revision. Na mjue hii revision ni ya kuwasaidia nyinyi watu wafanye vile inatakikana. So tutakuwa tuna revise hizi past papers. So every day, kwa sababu estimation and tendering ni kidogo, we can be revising at least 2 past papers kila wiki, at least 2 past papers mpaka tuweze kurudi. So like next week tutaweza anza na, we can even start with from the latest tukienda nyuma ya 2019. 2019 unakuanga nayo?
2019 lakini ni hard copy.
Na
2019 July. Yes, hiyo ni hard copy, labda nikutumie na nipige picha alafu nikutumanie.
Ni sawa. Na November?
2019 November hawakufanya.
Hawakufanya kwa nini?
Basi hiyo sina. Hiyo sina.
Ni yenye hawajafanya si ni ya 2020?
Oh. Hiyo sina.
Lakini nitajaribu kutafuta nione kama nitapata. Nilikuwa nataka tuanze na the latest which is 2019. Unajua sasa vile hii COVID iko, hata mtihani mnaweza fanya inaweza kuwa hata imetolewa hata kwa one of the papers. Unajua hivyo? Hawata wakazia sana. So if we revise these papers, unajua mtakuwa sawa, mtapita tu mtihani. So for EMFD kutoka next week, tuseme next week tunaenda kufanya 2019 July, kama hatujapata November tutafanya 2019 July and 2018 November. Si hapo ni sawa? So utanitumia hizo in advance so that I prepare, you guys also prepare on your side. So tukifika hiyo siku ni kupresent to the papers, the answers, we discuss and present the answers and tunaendelea. I think that one will be okay.
Yes.
So leo ilikuwa tu ni review, hatukuwa na maneno mingi. So maybe you ask some questions before we can end.
Labda Humphrey aulize.
Humphrey wewe unaona yuko ama anaonekana? Unaona ikikuwa hiyo kitu ya white inamaanisha hayuko, ametoka tena.
ako silent, ameweka silent.
Humphrey ni kama yuko lakini hayuko pia. So you guys, I think mko sawa. Salad, si mko sawa mpaka saa hii ama kuna unit yenye mko na shida kweli? Si kila kitu inaendelea vizuri?
Hiyo unit ya warm iko tu hivyo ama imechange hapo? Kwa nini? Kwa hii timetable mpya naona kama imechange.
Hiyo timetable mpya wachana nayo. Tutaendelea tu kutumia warm, si tulikuwa tumeileta on Thursday. Tutaifanya tu on Thursday tulikuwa tumeweka, because hiyo timetable mpya iwezi manage, because I was even added some units zenye bado zina collide na hiyo timetable mpya, so we cannot use it. We will just use what we have been using.
Okay.
Hapo ni sawa?
Sawa hapa.
So kesho asubuhi we are meeting for electrical installation and we will be talking about the three-phase supply. And I think that is our last topic. Ama kuna topic ingine tena itakuwa imebaki?
Sidhani. Hebu niangalie course outline.
Uko nayo hapo?
Niko nayo hapo.
Hebu iangalie ya electrical installation.
Tumesoma wiring na Mr. Joseph. Taarif, electrical taarif tulisoma na yeye. Tukaanza na yeye special installation, all and alarm circuit. Sasa ni three phase tu.
Hiyo ndio tunaanza kesho na tutasoma mpaka tuone itafika wapi. Si mnaona kila kitu karibu tunamaliza, ama tumewapeleka mbio sana? Iko sawa, si ndio?
Sawa.
Hiyo pia tunataka tumalize tuanze revision. I want you guys to pass all those units. Unaona mimi ndio ninawafunza unit mingi sana, karibu zote. Alafu what was I asking again? I was asking something na kimepotea. You guys, have you been communicated to on your examination?
Yes, I have communicated to Mr. Ngao. Nimuuliza kama tunaweza fanya by December. Tumalize hii module 2 ya CE alafu tuendelee haraka ya module 2 DE.
Akasema aje?
Akasema mnaweza fanya lakini lazima tunangoja, most probability tunaweza fanya, lakini tunangoja tena bado feedback ya NEC.
Unajua NEC sasa wao ndio wanatuambia vile kutakuwa. Wakisema kuna mtihani inafanywa December, you guys muenroll haraka haraka. Si tumeshamaliza? Ni nini hamjamaliza?
Hakuna.
Si ni practical peke yake? Hesabu hamjamaliza?
Hata hesabu ni vectors na trigonometry. Lakini shida hapo ni ya industrial machine.
Shida gani tena iko hapo?
Industrial machine unajua ni Bernard anatufunza. Bernard Odio. Sasa ako tufunzi poa. Huwa anatuambia ati subtopic zinafanana na mimi sioni kama zinafanana.
Sasa hivyo hajafunza hata moja.
Amefunza. Although ameanza tu na ya kwanza na mimi sijui hivyo na ameanza na kwanza.
Si mnaongea na yeye, si mwambiange?
Mimi nimemwambia sana. Sana.
Anabadiliki.
Badiliki.
Lakini nilijaribu kumwongelesha, alikuwa anasema darasa yenu mnamsumbua.
Wewe umeona aje madam, tunasumbuana?
Mimi sijaona mkisumbua, lakini unajua mwalimu yeye mwenyewe anasema mnamsumbua. Sasa nashangaa kwa nini yeye mnamsumbua.
Hiyo si kweli. Huwa anakuanga huwa anakuanga na excuse mingi yeye. Kilasi kama inaanza saa 2 ana shift class saa 3 hivi, amepoteza 1 hour. Huwa anakuanga na excuse mingi,
lakini mmesonga na yeye.
Na industrial machine iko na subtopic mingi sana,
Ni kama warm.
Kuna subtopic mingi sana
na warm pia karibu tunamaliza, tumebaki tu na work study na hiyo yenye tunafanya sasa hivi, si ndio?
Mwache niangalie.
Hebu angalia.
Hatujasoma tu work study. Marketing tumefanya, procurement tumefanya, quality control and inspection tumefanya. Sasa ni company law and industrial.
Hiyo ndio tuko sahihi, si ndio? Na work study. Hizo pia tutamaliza. Hizo pia unajua, ninajaribu kusukuma hiyo work study kwa sababu iko na calculation zingine kama ile yenye ulinipea niwafanyie. Najaribu kuzisukuma nione kama itafikia tukirudi shule. Lakini ikikosekana, tukikosa kurudi bado tutanini tu. Tutasoma tu. Sawa. So kama hamna maswali mengine tena, tunaweza maliza. Humphrey leo ako na shida. Akiona tu tukienda kumwangalia anazima. Sawa. Salad, si